The crucial issue is who and whom are qualified to participate in the by-election. Fundamentally, any Ghanaian who lives in that constituency or he hails from there is qualified to participate in that by-election. Political parties are then going to send representatives. So the MPP is going to have a candidate. Most likely that candidate will not be Adwoa Safo this time round. It will be another person. But the big question here is, could Adwoa Safo still contest in that election, either as an independent candidate or as a candidate of another political party? The jury's out there. Your guess is as good as mine. Let's continue and see what we got. Okay, so we're just trying to show you then, at this level, what the constituency looks like, so that if we are thinking and talking a by-election, you know how the by-election is going to go. The data that we have pulled out shows that it's a safe seat for the MPP, and the MPP is most likely going to win the by-election. However, the question is, if Sarah Adwoa Safo is standing herself as an independent candidate, does she have some people close to her in the constituency? Has she built her own typical following, personal following of herself? You know, we also know that the Christo Asafo thing is quite big in that constituency. So her father, Apostle Kojo Safo and others, it's all a bit of talking to be done here, because she may decide that she is filing for the seat as an independent candidate. So she'll be the incumbent. She'll be the independent candidate. The NDC MPP would have a candidate. I guess the NDC would have a candidate as well. Let's look at the figures. So we begin for 2020. I think we should have begun in 2016. But 2020, this is how it turned out. Nana Akufo-Addo obtained 78,467 of the votes, representing 60.58%. John Dramani Mahama obtained 50,136 of the votes, representing 38.7%. The total votes cast in Domko Abenya was 129,519. Differences between the candidates was 28,000. That's 20. We should have looked at 2016 first, sorry. So this 2016, Nana Akufo-Addo gets 62,793, representing 67% of the votes. John Dramani Mahama, then the incumbent, obtains 30,099, representing 32%. So 2020 saw Akufo-Addo rise higher with 2016, Akufo-Addo got 67% of the votes. In 2020, he came down to 60% of the votes. John Dramani Mahama got 32% of the votes in 2016. In 2020, he came up to 38% of the votes. It's still, by and large, a very safe seat for the MPP in terms of parliamentary elections, because with parliament, it's first past the post, isn't it? Okay, this is 2016. Sarah Adwoa Safo obtains 63,488 votes in the constituency, representing 67.99%. And Nuruddin Mohammed, a former staff of Metro TV, I should say, a news reporter here, who ran that election against Adwoa Safo on the ticket of the NDC, obtained 29,392, which is 31.48% of the votes. So this was the photograph of the results of 2016's elections. Let's see what happened in 2020. In 2020, Sarah Adwoa Safo obtained 75,000 of the votes, whereas Faustina Elikplim Agurugu obtained 52,262. Now, Sarah Adwoa Safo now gets 58.4% of the votes, dropping from 67% of the votes in 2016, now to managing 58.4% of the votes. The NDC candidature also changed. Nuruddin Mohammed steps down for somebody else. Nuruddin had 31,000, and then Faustina Elikplim Aguru had 52,000, representing Nuruddin had 31% and Faustina has 40%. So that's the data analysis of the constituency. It's still by and large a safe seat, but it's a seat that shows an NDC growing influence in the constituency, albeit quite slow, but you can see that the NDC is growing in influence in the constituency. So it's a by-election up in the offing for the Domiko Abenya constituency. Your guess is as good as mine. That's how the figures look like. So for MPP, for now, it's by and large a safe seat. Let's look at 2020's figures. So 75,000 and 52,000, that's about 20,000 difference. So the NDC will need to claw back as much as 20,000 votes, 20,000 people who change their minds. All of that may not happen if it's a straightforward race. But in this kind of confusion, in this kind of situation, if Adwoa Safo decides that, okay, I'm very, very angry with my party. They let me down, they did this, they did that, and therefore I'm going to present myself as an independent candidate just to give the NDC the chance, the fighting chance of winning the by-election. She may decide to do that if the negotiations between herself and the NPP don't end well. And we have heard several things. We have heard that she has indicated her concern that she wants to be the deputy majority leader. We don't know how authentic that is. Many observers, political observers, also say that the day that a letter went out of the president's office to Adwoa Safo reversing her decision to dismiss Mrs. Kwashiga from the school feeding program was the day that Adwoa Safo got very upset. But does she have power to get upset in those circumstances? Ministers get their directives changed by the president all the time. The president is the ultimate leader of the government and the party. Article 57 says the executive authority of Ghana shall vest in the president, and the president can share that executive authority with everyone.